Ashley or Monique?
Neither.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions MC and producer. And today I am joined by the legendary Rayceen Pendarvis and star of the Real Housewives of Potomac, Candiace Dillard Bassett. Hello, my love.
Hello, darling.
Greetings, my love. Oh my God, we're so excited to have you.
We are.
I have been looking forward to this all week.
I know your publicist told us, and I was like, I'm glad she's excited for us. That's great.
Yes. No, you all are such a joy. Anytime that I see you all in the streets at all of the things, because we know Rayceen is a socialite.
Yes, honey.
Always a joy. It's like it brings a light into the room, and it's nice to, especially in these times.
Oh my God, it is. We so need it.
To such people with such a light.
Thank you.
So important. And you are such a light. Before I even begin and get into the interview, I'm gonna just say this to you. It is so important that in the LGBT community, LGBTQIA community, that we have allies like you.
Mm.
You are such an amazing ally. You at everything. I see you.
Yes, we've seen you everywhere.
You're everywhere. You are everywhere, and you're fighting for everybody's rights. You're open to listen, to hear, and you're engaging to our community. And it's so important because people need to feel as if other folks who are not a part of our community understand us. And
that's one of the things people don't even know about you. Like all the times we've seen you, ran into you, just, it's always been at these events. And, you don't go out there and boast about it like other people or stuff like that. You just do it and you show up. And we love that. We love that so much.
Guys, you're giving me chills.
You're like our little silent warrior. Our little, our little.
Thank you.
Our little, and we need that. And it's so important because, like I say, especially in what we're going into, what we're dealing with, where the world is today.
Yes. And where the world is going to go.
And where it's going to go.
As we know, and if you haven't already, start thinking about the ways that you're going to have to adjust when we come out of this, because it's going to affect everybody, and especially our marginalized people, our marginalized groups, and that includes, women, people of color, our LGBTQ community, and everyone of color within that community. So we have to start thinking about, disproportionately so, So the ways that we can start to wrap our minds around how we're going to have to be the resilient people that we are as marginalized people. It's going to do us a service as we move into the reconstruction phase, because that's what it's going to be.
Definitely. Come on, ally. Yes.
You are just so amazing. You're a woman who wears many hats. One, you're the star of Real Housewives of Potomac. You're a singer-songwriter and founder of you're the founder and president of the Prima Hair Collection. You're an amazing actress. You're also going to be featured in the upcoming season of Family Reunion.
On Netflix?
Yes. I saw your post on Instagram too with that.
Yeah, alongside Tia Mowry. And it's like, how are you juggling all this?
I don't know. With a therapist and Jesus.
Yes.
And a support system. My husband I call him my husbander because he keeps me in line. Before this interview, he was like, "What are you doing? You're supposed to be upstairs doing an interview right now." I'm like, "Pause, sir. I got this." So he's very supportive. My family, my mom are so supportive of me. But I think it's knowing that I have to answer my calling. And my calling is to be a public speaker, a public servant. I've always known that I was going to, in some way, share my talents and my gifts with the world. And I'm an introvert and I'm a shy person. So I get a lot of anxiety about, having to, I have to talk myself up to do an interview or to fly to LA to walk on the Paramount lot and shoot a week with Family Reunion on Netflix.
Yeah.
I have to breathe my way through those things and talk my way through those things. But it's knowing that it's a calling on me, and I have to. If I don't, I'll die. I have to put myself out there and put my art out there and put my stuff out into the world and give of myself. And even what you were saying about, my allyship with the LGBTQ community, I have to. If I didn't, I would die.
Yeah.
I have to speak for, and it's really because I always say the gays raised me, child. I was raised. And I could not, I can't stand in that community and ignore what I see as the disenfranchisement, as the marginalization, as it's the unfairness and just making more palatable the experiences of your community. I have to, because I was raised by and loved on by so many members of your community, and I'm drawn to the light that is in so many people in the LGBTQ community, and it's just I would be doing everybody a disservice.
Yeah,
and it's just answering the call on your life, whatever that call is. And for me, those are my callings, is expressing myself, is advocating for people who I feel need it, and doing what's on my heart. Definitely. And that those things are in me and on me. And if I don't do them, I'll be in the woods somewhere rolling around in the grass. I don't know.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, we love that. Thank you so much too for that allyship. And I mean, right now we're in unprecedented times. So let's talk about it. How are you dealing with this pandemic? How are you and the family, you and Chris? How's that going?
So at first, I told you I was an introvert. So at first I was like, yes, girl, I'm in the house. It's going to be good. I'm eating and drinking and carrying on, because I'm used to being in my house, hanging out. I work mostly from home. Premium Hair Collection, I run it mostly from my house. My pageant consulting firm, Candiace Dillard Pageant Consulting, I run mostly from my home, and then I rent out studio spaces to see my clients for when we do stage presence work. But I'm mostly around my house. So at first I was like, this is fine. Recently, though, I think I started to kind of hit a wall in the last maybe 2 weeks. Because I went out, and seeing all of the people in the masks, it gave me anxiety. And I like to talk openly about having anxiety and dealing with stress, because I feel like in our communities, it's something that we don't talk about enough. It's still something that is, you're considered weak or a liability if you have anxiety or if you have depression. So I like to talk about those things openly. And for me, I deal with anxiety and stress, and I panic attacks. And when I went out, I was like, oh my God, what is this? I'm not used to seeing people walking around in the masks. And then there's just a different energy in the world now where you don't want to be close to people, and someone gets close, it's like, you get rigid, and all of it, just, it kind of it made me go, ah! So now I'm like, how do I manage those things? So one thing that I've been doing is I really mitigate the amount of time that I spend on watching the news. You do want to get, a little bit, just so that you're up to date with what's happening in the world. That's important. But then turn it off. Give yourself an hour to watch whatever your network of choice is, and then turn
Bravo. We love Bravo.
Yes. Listen, turn Bravo on.
There we go.
Potomac House, Beverly Hills is on right now.
Yes.
There's so many good shows on right now. Watch that stuff, to clear your mind. And then I also have to mitigate the amount of time I spend on social media, because even the memes and the funny stuff, it gets into your system. And I have a producer friend of mine who says that he has nightmares every night about something to do with COVID. Mm-hmm. So we have to be advocates for our own mental health and say to ourselves, how can I mitigate this stress? And only you know that answer. So I've been struggling and dealing with that myself because it's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot.
It is a lot to handle. And speaking of, I think about, I look at your life, this young lady from the Southern Belle from Atlanta who ended up in the DMV, who ended up on this show, Real Housewives of Potomac. I mean, how did that happen? Tell us that experience. How did that, for you, and tell us how did it happen and what's some of your most memorable experiences on the show?
Well, it's funny. I'm a huge believer in life and death is in the power of the tongue. When you put something out there, be prepared for it to fall in your lap.
Yeah. I
did that with Netflix and I did that with Housewives. I said, why am I not on the show? Like when they first, because
girl,
my middle name is Drama. So
yes.
So when it first started, of course I watched, like I'm sure everybody else did, because it's like proximity to the show. You want to see where are they going in the DMV. Who's on the show? Who do they know? Who do let's play the name game. 6 degrees of separation.
Separation, yeah.
Yeah. So I watched in the beginning because, number one, I was familiar with people on the show, with Ashley. I knew Ashley. But also because I wanted the only second all-Black ensemble cast of Housewives to survive. So let me watch and make sure that I'm talking about this. And I think it was a great, entertaining show. It got significantly better in season 3.
Girl, I was just about to say that. Season 3 and 4 are iconic pieces of television. Everybody knows that. Everyone knows that.
Are you still living in your home in Great Falls?
Oh, I am. Liar! You gonna instigate? That's what you gonna do?
Candiace, let it go.
I need a break.
It just elevated to a new echelon.
Yeah. And it's such a coincidence that you arrived on the scene.
Yes. I watched it with Chris, with my husband, and we were entertained by the show. And I said, why am I not on the show? Like, I need to be on the show. Like, if you're going to be in the DMV talking about Black girl magic in this area, I've lived here for 15 and a half years. I am officially, I'm always a Southern girl, but I'm officially a Washingtonian. I have lived, breathed, tripped and fallen and gotten back up in this city. So I have a story to tell in DC, okay? And the show is called Potomac, but if you pay attention, we are scattered throughout the DMV, and we play and traipse about the DMV. So, and that I am the DMV, okay? Girl. So I put it out there, and literally, they are always casting. Yeah. And I received an email asking, for me to reach out if I was interested. And then there's a series of interviews that you go through, and here we are. 2.5 seasons later, and child, the mess. And
we're already ready for season 5. But even before I get deeper into that, speaking of the DMV, you are a bison. I am a bison. Hey, HU.
Yes,
Yes, honey. So tell me about that. How was your time at Howard? And I also see that you've been, even before the pandemic, you've been doing some things with WHUR. Tell me all about that.
Yeah, so so my stepdad went to Howard University for undergrad and medical school. So I was exposed to HBCUs early in life, but I always grew up in predominantly white spaces most of my life. My family was military, so we moved around a lot. We were mostly around not people of color. I was often the one little black dot in the school picture. And yes, and I started to kind of thirst for more of a Black experience. And it was myself and 3 other of my classmates that when it was time to start having those conversations, you know, around like sophomore, junior year, you have those conversations about like, where do you want to go to college and where are you going to go? And we had all kind of said, well, I think Howard. So Howard was at the top of my list. I also had Hampton on my list. I had Spelman on my list, and then the rest were PWIs. And when I got into Howard, I knew that that's where I wanted to be. It was just a matter of like, you know, giving myself options. So when I got in, it was like, I'm out. And I got here, and it was a culture shock because I'd never really been in an urban area like DC. I'd never, like, the Chocolate City is its own beast. And then Howard, as you know, it's not gated off. It's not quartered off. It's smack dab
integrated into the city. Yes. And so you're getting a true DC experience while also trying to adjust to being a college student. And so it's a lot of moving parts in your head. But and that's part of the reason, that's the main reason why I wanted to do a go-go song, not to transition, but because I wanted to express my true love and appreciation for this city that really molded me and made me into who I am. Being at Howard, the Mecca, it is the you know, it's the it thing in a Black college experience. And I literally don't know who I would be without my Howard experience. I would be someone totally different, I think. Like I'd still probably be me, but me, you know, I wouldn't be as unapologetic. I wouldn't be as my lash is doing this thing, child. Hold on.
That's not right. Take a minute.
Sorry. No, I would not be who I wouldn't be as sure of who I am as a Black woman. I wouldn't be as sure of who I am moving through the world. I wouldn't have the connections and the experiences that I have. And it was meant to be. It was also written. I was called to come to the Mecca. And it's something that it's the one of the few things that I will never regret is a time.
That's so amazing. That's so wonderful. And I mean, you transition to so many.
Let's jump into the music. Let us jump into the music.
Let's talk about that music. You know, you're a singer-songwriter. You know, I've you know, because we're friends, I follow you and I hear you, and I love to hear you sing. So when you do these acapella moments on Facebook, I mean, like,
even on the show, I love big balls. Iconic moment.
Feeling the love. I'm getting 3 balls. She likes big balls. And she cannot lie. I'm gonna throw up.
Oh my God, that song, yes. And I cannot lie. Why? She likes big balls.
Yes, I love it. But yeah, tell us about ICU and even the proceeds going towards the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes, so so the original R&B ballad is also called ICU, and I wrote that for my husband Chris when we were going through the phases of like being engaged and planning our wedding. I knew that I wanted to perform a song for him at our wedding, but I thought I was going to do a cover. I wanted to do Toni Braxton is like my sister in song. So I knew that I was probably going to do a Toni Braxton song, but then it was kind of presented to me, why don't you write something of your own? And I was like, what? Write something? I'm not really good at writing. What? So I partnered with an amazing songwriter, and we kind of worked together to create a melody with my lyrics that were kind of all over the place. Her name is Vita Wisnett. She's amazing. So we worked together to create the R&B ballad, and I actually didn't really get to practice it a lot before I performed it live in front of all my guests and also on the show.
Yes.
So it was like, it was a mess. So after we kind of packaged that song, I knew I wanted to do like a full project. And Chris, being the husbander that he is, he was kind of passing the song along to everybody. And DJ Iron at WHUR got a hold of it, and he loved the song. and he wanted to see what he could do with it. And he passed it along to Chucky Thompson, who is a son of DC. He is a wizard. If you are familiar with any of Mary J. Blige's My Life album, Faith Evans, Usher, Nas, Biggie, so many amazing artists who have written, soundtracks to our lives in the 90s. Chucky has really had a hand in that. He was also with Bad Boy. So anything, Bad Boy was cranking out hits, and Chucky was a part of that team. He liked my song, and he was like, let's work together. And I was like, are you me? Are you sure?
Yes.
And so we had a meeting, and in that meeting I said, by the way, whatever we do, I gotta do a go-go song at some point. I want that to be on my EP. And he was like, well, why don't we just make this a go-go song? Why don't we remix this? And I was like, what? I didn't think about that. Okay. So we went away. Chucky did his magic. He did his thing. And I came back, and when I heard it all kind of together, and it was still a rough cut, I fell out of the chair at how incredible it was. And then we re-recorded most of the song to kind of, because we sped it up a little bit, so to kind of match the new aura with the song, we re-recorded some of the song, and here it is for the people. And it really is my love song to the city, and it makes sense because my love for Chris and my love story to Chris, it translates very easily to showing my love and appreciation for this city that raised me up, that I adopted as my new home, and that I credit for, helping me to become who I am.
And that's amazing. And speaking of this whole go-go thing, now go-go is the DC Anthem,
official music of the city.
So your song will be a part of this whole part of etched of DC history. When you go to events, it'll be part of, you'll be hearing it, honey. It'll be like you hear it like when you go to a cookout, you're going to hear May. You're going to hear I See You as part
honey,
of
we hear Candiace Dillard Bassett, honey.
I just think it's wonderful. And I'm so proud of you. From the first moment.
And especially with the partnership that you did with DC Education Equity Fund.
Yes. So very brief, because I'm long-winded. I can talk.
That's all right. We enjoy it,
honey. We are living.
We made plenty of time for that.
Yes. Okay. So we are in a pandemic, as you said, and I knew that I was ready to release the song. We've been kind of holding on to it for a while, and I had reservations about releasing it now because it's like, okay, I'm asking you to buy something that I'm selling, buy my music at a time when people are struggling and they don't know where their next check is coming from. Some people don't know where their next meal is coming from. And it's just very uncertain for everybody. So I knew that I had to do something to bring awareness to some part of this pandemic. And because the song is a go-go song, go-go is native to DC, I said, well, let's do something in the city, in DC. And my sister is an educator in DCPS, and I have a lot of friends who are also DCPS educators. So I kind of have heard secondhand from them what the struggle has been like transitioning into distance learning. And, a lot of their students come from underprivileged homes or come from homes that are low income. And they get a lot of the resources that they need to function at school. And so now that they're at home, there's a lacking. So that's where the idea of partnering with the DC Education Equity Fund came from. They are doing such an amazing job providing resources. They've raised over $2 million since March 24th for students and families in DCPS. And their goal is to get to over 3 million. So I wanted to contribute to that. So I am donating 15% of my first 2 weeks of sales to the DC Education Equity Fund. And I'm also encouraging people to, in addition to purchasing my song, you can also donate individually at dcedequity.org. And just as an example, $50 provides a Wi-Fi hotspot for a family. And we know how important the internet is in our lives. We're using the internet right now. I don't have cable. So my Wi-Fi hotspot is strong because I need that to watch TV. So we can't function anymore without the internet. So imagine what it must be like and how frustrating it must be for some of these students to be getting these packets at home and they have questions or they need to research things or look things up and they don't have easy access to the internet. So it's a very small thing that you can do is, even if you can't give $50, $10, anything helps. So that is how I'm trying to sort of balance out asking for support for myself by also giving support to people in the DC area that are affected by COVID-19.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Tell me now, because you are also an entrepreneur. So tell me a little bit about Prima Hair Collections and anything new coming out. What are the new textures, new styles? What's the tea?
Yes. So we started Prima Hair Collection with my sister and my mother and myself. I started the company after I gave up my pageant title. I was Miss United States in 2013. And as a pageant girl, you spend a lot of time kind of learning about the beauty industry. And as a woman of color, looking for hair extensions for pageant purposes, it wasn't always easy at the time to find good hair extensions that worked for my texture, that blended well, that weren't going to melt or shed everywhere after, one wear. And so my sister's obsessed with like hair products and hair extensions. She's like a genius. My mom actually suggested, well, why don't you start a hair company? And she gave me the first investment. My sister and I, she gave us the first investment. And we've been going, I think, 5 years now. And the people love it. We are still even to this day, we are still in business. The Saints are buying hair to sew in, to go, I don't know where, but we are happy to send it to you. And we are
Zoom meetings. They're going to be on Zoom with your hair.
Listen, with that new Prima hair, and I am not mad about it at all.
There we go.
Yes. So we are introducing a new long-awaited texture. I've gotten so many questions and requests for this texture. So we are introducing the Catalina Brazilian Kinky Curly. My sister took it, or I would show it to you. She has it. She's getting it customized so that she can wear it. But the Kinky Curly hair is long awaited and much requested because for women like me who have 4C hair, we want to celebrate our texture, and there are these stigmas attached to wearing certain types of hair extensions. If you're wearing the bone straight or the Indian curly, a lot of times you get a lot of hate sometimes from people that say, why are you covering your texture? Why are you covering your hair? You should celebrate that. And that's not true, because as a Black woman, part of our Black girl magic is that we can change our hair every day if we want to, and that's our business, okay? But I'm excited about this texture because it does really celebrate our big, beautiful, bold texture. And this texture very closely mimics what grows naturally out of my head. And I can't wait to take out my braids and don it myself. But it's available right now on our website, primahaircollection.com. We are currently offering it in wig units. We will be offering individual bundles as well if you wanted to just sew it in or make clip-ins. Whatever you do, you can do that.
Sounds good. All right, so we have 9 minutes left, I'm being told, on this interview.
Yes.
So before we go, what I want to do is a quick deep dive into the Real Housewives of Potomac. All right. Okay. So we know that they just pushed back the season.
They did.
So tell me about that. How are you feeling about that right now?
I'm really sad. I'm really disappointed. I'm really sad about it mostly because, as you all know, this season was very tumultuous. It was very dramatic. And there have been a lot of mistruths and fallacies, frankly, put out into the universe. And I was excited about the season starting just so that we could start to put some of those things to rest so that I could clarify, because we can't really talk about the details of the season until
before it airs.
Before it airs. So the fact that I now have to wait an undisclosed amount of time to be able to do that it sucks. And then I know that all of our viewers and our fans were looking forward to this season. And I've gotten so many tweets and emails and messages saying, I'm so devastated. And it's like, I know.
I've been looking forward to it forever.
Yes, crying tears about this.
Yeah, that promo picture, all of y'all sitting.
Stunning.
Sitting.
Thank you. Yes, that was a fun, it was a stressful shoot, but it was a fun shoot because we were due a new photo to really kind of embody the new places that we're in our lives and how it should reflect on the show. So
speaking of those new places, how would you rank season 5 compared to the iconic season 3 and 4? Where would you put it on the list?
It's the best yet.
Oh!
It keeps getting better. It keeps getting better. And honestly, you know, I like to joke and say that season 3 is when it really got good because she was on. But season 3 all around was just great. Everybody upped their game. Everybody elevated, and most of us, gave more and gave new things. And then season 4 was even better than that. Season 5 is the pinnacle. So far, how we're going to top that, I don't know.
I don't know. So with the pandemic, how has that affected? Just tell me quickly how that is affecting production. I know sometimes you guys still shoot the interviews like right up until the premiere, sometimes even after the show premieres. Yes. How's that going?
So I'm actually shooting an interview tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I was on the phone yesterday.
Inside tea.
Yes. So we're setting everything up, and it's a lot. It's a lot of moving parts to have to. They had to mail us, sort of like how the Atlanta Housewives did for their reunion.
Yes.
They mailed us certain things to set up, and they walk us through the way that everything works. So prayerfully that will go well tomorrow. But yes, we are still shooting interviews. Luckily, because our show was in post-production, we are still able to give you a show. Yeah. Whereas several shows on Bravo were in the middle of production or just starting production.
New Jersey.
Yes, and they had to shut down completely. So, you know, it's unfortunate for them because we don't know when they're going to be able to pick back up, and that affects programming, which is part of the reason why they moved us, just to kind of spread out the programming that they do have to take us through the summer and through the fall.
Thank you. All right. So final game. We have 5 minutes left. We're going to do a lightning round. Okay. This is a lightning round. And you pick which you rather or which one you prefer. All right.
Okay.
Ready? Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Miss World or Miss Universe?
Miss Universe.
Okay. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or Real Housewives of New York?
Beverly Hills.
Ashley or Monique?
Neither.
Acting or singing?
Oh my God, acting.
Karen's wig shift or Karen and Giselle's mime moment?
Oh my God. They're both so good. The wig shift.
I know. Wig shift. Okay. Wigs or weaves?
Weaves.
Weaves. Yes. Potomac season 3 or season 4?
3, because it's nostalgic. It's my first one.
Okay. Atlanta or DC?
Atlanta.
Cannes, France, the Cayman Islands, or Portugal?
Cannes was amazing.
Cannes. Okay. Awesome. Well, that's fine.
Hold on. It's dying. I was not prepared for life. Okay.
All right.
Okay, back.
There we go. Well, Candiace, it was great. This was so fun. We had an amazing time.
Yes, this was so much fun.
It was wonderful, honey, because you know what? It was truly engaging and a labor of love. And we just, it just flowed so smoothly. It's like, I feel like you're sitting right, like we're in your living room.
I know, right?
Listen, when we are able to go out again and we have our show, you know you will be there, honey.
I will be there with bells on, I promise. And Rayceen, I'm so sad that because we were right before this happened, we were supposed to do the ball.
Yes.
And that's all right. We got you in mind. You on the list. You're top of the list to be one of our judges. So trust and believe.
Yes.
We're going to make it happen.
Yes,
we will. Thanks so much, Candiace. Rayceen, take us out.
And viewers, thank you for watching.
And let us play I See You remix to take us all out.
Yes!
Sing my Drake bartender. You know I see you. Without you.
Ooh, yeah,
Hey, baby.
I don't know what heals a heart or where to start to describe how much I love you. I don't know what tomorrow brings, what songs to sing to show you you're my everything. All I know is I found the one.
Yeah, let's get it.
In a world where love's taken for granted and its beauty is pushed aside, a world where people would rather be distant than come together and compromise. In a world where fears try to consume you and little petty things get in the way. One thing's clear, one thing's true. Through it all I see.
No matter what we're going through in life, you always be my baby, we for life. Yeah.